Hey folks, welcome to this week's edition of Brush Pile Fishing. It is a cold morning here in Alabama, but it's supposed to warm up into the mid 60s and maybe even hit 70. We're at Lake Guntersville and I've got a great guest in store. You know him, Kevin McCarley. You know, last year we shot a show, same time, but we spider rigged. Kevin's going to show today that there's other ways of getting some nice fish here at Guntersville in the spring. So you stay tuned, we'll be right back with Brush Pile Fishing.
Many people look at a lake and feel a sense of calm serenity. Crappie fishermen feel the heart-pounding anticipation of the thump. That's why host Russ Bailey is addicted to crappie fishing. It's this addiction that takes Russ from the Midwest to the Deep South in search of the best lakes, techniques, and patterns from some of the best crappie anglers in the country. Right here on Brush Pile Fishing.
Hey folks, welcome back to Brush Pile Fishing here at Lake Guntersville with Kevin McCarley. Kevin, how we doing, man?
Good, Russ. Good to see you again, buddy.
Hey, you know what? Normally this time of year, it's always warm. The last year we got here, you could see our breath, it was so cold. It's cold again this morning, but it is gonna warm up today.
I think you just bring it with you from Ohio every time.
We did, because it was like 30 degrees when we left home for the high.
I got you.
But,
I got you.
You know, we wanted to do another spring show because we had talked last year, there are so many different ways you can catch nice fish here in Guntersville. Last year we did the spider rigging, but you say today a little bit something different.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of long lining today. Something that I really started out tournament crappie fishing doing is really kind of the only technique I knew at the time.
Okay.
So it's one of my old favorites. Catch a lot of fish. You can have multiple fish on at a time. So looking forward to it. Hopefully we can catch a lot of whites and blacks today and not just the black fish. So looking forward to it.
You ready to get started?
Man, I'm ready. Let's roll.
Guntersville, here we go again, folks.
Here's the lake information, sponsored by Mossback Fish Habitat. Your gear and conditions, sponsored by Cornfield Fishing Gear.
Hey folks, welcome back to Brush Pile Fishing. If you just joined us, we are here at Guntersville in Alabama. We're doing some long line trolling. It's an early spring pattern. Cold morning to start, but it's supposed to warm up in the mid 60s. And Kevin, can you start by telling the folks what kind of setup we have as far as the rod lengths and the way you position those in the boat?
Yes, sir. We're gonna fish front and back of the boat. Some people like to fish two out of the back. I prefer front and back because I get bites out of both. We'll be running the 12-foot Pro Staff trolling rods and then a 16-foot. Keeps those baits separated away from one another, allows you to pull your fish in their lanes. In the back, we've got 2 8s in the center, 2 10s on the outside. So we're running basically a 32-foot wide path going across all these fish. And I will also incorporate a couple of 16-foot PSTs out front. And I'll run a 3/4 ounce to 1 ounce weight and put a crappie magnet on a spinner underneath that as well. And so we kind of incorporate a push and a long line up front, all long line in the back. And we usually try to keep it around a mile an hour, maybe up to 1.2.
Just getting started this morning, folks. And Kevin, one of the things we talked about before we got started is the drop in water temperature in a week's time.
Yes, we were up in the 60s last week. Water temp was giving up about 65 to 66 last week, and we had this cold front. And I mean, it only got cold for a couple of days, but it's dropped this water temp all the way down to 53, 54 degrees. So hopefully it hadn't stunted them too bad. We should be right in the middle of the spawn. What we're looking for is that reaction bite out of these long lining baits coming over where these fish are sitting maybe on the nest or maybe even bust a few males today sitting there guarding those nests. So,
you know, another thing, Kevin, I'm noticing there's a lot of trash in the water this morning.
So we've had, say, 3 or 4 days of north wind here lately, and it's pushed everything from the north end of the lake over to the south end. Well, today we've got a southeast wind. So what it's done is overnight is it's taken some of that trash off that side of the lake, pushed it back in the middle across the lake. Normally you can find areas that doesn't have a bunch of trash and you can usually get in there and long line, but if your water's totally covered with debris or eelgrass, you might as well not even try long lining, because you'll be cleaning your rods and your baits constantly, and it's more hassle really than it's worth. So hopefully we can find those areas without that debris and get on a few.
We've definitely seen a lot of sticks and logs in the water, but it seems like they're spread out, so it so far this morning hasn't affected us. So
that's correct. That's correct. Good thing is there's not a lot of eelgrass in here.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's the one thing that can just really kill you on your long line, is if you get into a bunch of eelgrass. Most of the time the floating wood or debris, most of the time that's usually concentrated in one area. Seems like with wherever the channel's pulling the water, wherever that current's at,
yep,
those logs and things will stay in there, but that grass will just spread out. So that's a good thing we don't have the eelgrass. I think we can manage with the sticks and stuff. And if you get out and you're wanting to long line and there's so much debris floating, or there is eelgrass everywhere, you can go back to a spider rigging method, and you can go a lot slower and you can kind of shake that debris off of your lines. Where long lining, it's going to collect on that line as it hits it and run all the way down your line, all the way to your bait, and make that bait ineffective. So if you ever get out trying to do some long lining, conditions just don't give you that, always you can go back to spider rig and work around that debris.
Fish on, fish on,
there
fish
we go.
on. There's the first one.
There we go. Fish on. Taking you for a little ride there.
Hoping he's a crappie.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here, black there, get things started.
Yes, sir. And you say we may catch blacks and whites here.
Yep, and that's a good 1.5 pounds. Black crappie right there, good one to start the day.
Look at that, folks. Look at there. Good fish to get us going. Kevin says we're gonna catch blacks and whites today. That's a black to get us started. Beautiful fish for sure. Wow. Love that tug, man, when you're long lining.
It's fun.
Look at there. Woo, baby, there's the one to get us going. Take a whole show of that size.
Yeah, that's a good fish right there. That's a good tournament fish. Hey, fish on? Well, I think I got a fish on. Yep, fish on. Fish on, F-O.
Here we go. First pass of the morning, second fish coming in. Let me know if you need a net, brother.
Okay. You don't feel like a giant. No, a smaller fish.
You keep weeding them out for me, Kevin.
I will. I'll stick all these small ones. Let that little fella go back for another day. He's a little small. And when you're long lining like this and you've already got your long 16-foot pole out, instead of trying to throw your inside pole, if you just take it and just drop it right in the water and just kind of let out the same amount of line that you had. I always try to look, I don't have counters, so I just look at my spool when I get it where I want it and try to mimic that every time I put it out. But that way you eliminate a lot of tangle and throwing over another line. Just drop it out there, let the speed of the boat take out what line you need, then you can flip your bail and you're done. Now we've already broke off once, so we're gonna retie up one of these eye-hole jigs. We've got a purple eye-hole jig, round head. I believe these are the Brandon Smiths. No, these are the light wire. Blake made me some with really light wire. A lot of times they'll pull off. I just do a simple six turns around the line, come right back through the hole. Wet it, cinch it down. Really simple knot, been using it for years, works great. I'm gonna pair it up here. a little crappie magnet. We're going to be using a purple and chartreuse with the purple head. Just feed him through the tail. And that you set up for our long lining. And we're actually going to stick some of these crappie magnet slab bites into the eyes of this eye hole jig and let it do its job. We're going to go with a pink on this one. Got pink and green in there. Just take it and you just insert that slab bite into the eye. And I'll take and do half in one side. And I'll put the other half in the other side. Clean off the excess. Got a nice looking bait. Crappie magnet, eye hole jig, crappie magnet slab bites. Catches fish.
Now, Kevin, I'm noticing today the water's a nice, what I call a nice stain color.
Yes.
This is what I'm comfortable fishing. Is this normal here, or is it normally clearer than this?
It's normally a little clearer than this. We have had rain here lately, several inches last week, and it still got it a little bit dirty, but it's still got a good clarity for as much rain as we have had.
Gotcha.
But normally it's a lot clearer than this.
See, I like this color right here.
Yeah, this lake stays a lot clearer than, say, your Wheeler or whatever. You know, Wheeler's that flood control lake. That's where they're going to dump all the water.
Yeah.
A lot of houses, a lot more, I guess you'd say, economic influence over here on this lake than there is, you know. So they try to keep that water at a good level, but still, with all the rain we've had, it's going to dirty up a little.
Yeah. Also, Kevin, I know you're not going to bring it up, so I'm going to, but you fished the ACT here a couple weeks ago, had a real nice tournament.
Yes, sir, we did. We were on some really good fish there in practice, and we actually fished the first day of the tournament. We fished where we shot the show last year, so I knew those good fish were there. It's pretty much a community hole and pretty much a place you can go catch good fish like that every year. And so we hit that place the first day and saved our best place for the second. And sometimes I wonder if we should have hit the second both days, you know, because we had some really big fish that second day. And we like to come back and pulled it off, but big congratulations to Tony and Jason. They're some good friends of ours. They won it, and couldn't be happier for a couple of great guys, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys all earned that because conditions were terrible for that tournament.
They were. I think there was probably about 20 or 30 boats that couldn't even make it here with the weather conditions. And if I hadn't left, I actually live about an hour and a half away, so if I hadn't left on Sunday and tried to wait till Monday, I wouldn't have been fishing.
Yep.
Because we would have been snowed in and iced in as well where I live. So it worked out, though. It was nice to finally have a good tournament against these guys, and you know, there's nowhere else I'd rather fish though than ACT, fishing against the best there is in the country.
Yes, sir.
And that's absolutely what they've got, is the best anglers, crappie anglers there are in the nation, is in that group. Some of the best guys you ever meet as well, too. Some of the most popular guys are Ronnie and Steve, and those are some of the nicest fellas you'll ever meet. Happy to sit down and talk to you about crappie fishing and try their best to help you. And that's what this sport needs.
Yep.
This wind may lay down where we can go both directions too. That's one thing about the long lining. It's a method you can use. Say if you get out here and you've got 10-mile-an-hour winds, you can still fish long lining where maybe you couldn't spider rigging.
Right.
You just get and let your boat ride with the wind, and instead of trying to troll and use your battery and go against that wind, just crank your motor up, reel your lines up, crank your motor up, go to the end of the run that you've been doing, start over. Saves you battery and still enables you to fish even on rough days.
So Kevin, what kind of depths are we actually long lining in today?
Fish on, Russ. We're actually fishing in 15 foot of water.
And we got a fish on as we talk about the depth. Let me grab the net. You feel like 4.5 pounds?
He feels like decent. I seen him come to the top back there.
If he's bigger than that last one I caught, you ain't getting him in, is all I'm saying, all
I
right?
don't think he's gonna be that big. Let's see what we got here. He looks decent.
Yep, yep.
Looks like another black, doesn't it?
I believe it is. Nope, it's white.
Oh, got us a whitefish. Hey, about maybe go a pound, a whitefish. And if that's a female, she's probably already laid, because she is not fat anymore. And we will catch some post-spawn fish today. We're fishing in 15 foot of water today. And when we cross the channel, it'll drop down a little bit, but the flats are normally about 15, 16 foot. So what I like to do is I like to troll around 1 mile an hour. So for the different water depths, I'll change the size jig head. For this depth of water, we're going to run a 1/8, which should run your baits around 8 to 10 foot, depending on if you drop speed a little bit. But about 1 mile an hour with a 1/8 should run you about 8 foot deep. If I'm going to go shallower, I'll just change to a 1/16 for somewhere in that 8 to 6 foot range, and anything less than that, I run a 1/32 and keeps that bait running higher in the water table. I just want to show you guys a little bit on the screen here on the Lowrance. What we're doing is we've got this creek channel that winds through here. So what we want to do is go over the channel into the flats around it, and all along the edge of this creek channel is all stumps which are holding these fish. So if you're out wanting a long line, look for something along these lines here, like a creek channel that winds through there that you can cross. And you usually find fish sitting on the stumps on the edges of those creek channels. So that's what you want to look for when you're out there looking a long line. Find you a creek channel, comes up to the depth you want on the sides of it. Just make you some good passes back and forth across it, and you'll usually find some fish. You know, long lining's a perfect way to fish, especially with kids or people that are not that experienced in crappie fishing. Fish pretty much hook themselves. You're dragging these baits through at 1 mile an hour, and that fish, it's a reaction bite, he attacks it. 90% of the time he's hooked right there, and it's just a fact of reeling the fish in. So it's a great way to get kids and maybe your spouse, your wife, somebody involved, and get them out and have a fun day fishing. You know, we were talking earlier about the line of debris, you know. You can see it right there. It's like wherever that current, almost like the channel, it just holds like a whole line of it. You just have to try to get out of that line and avoid it. Oh, yep, there he is. Fish on, fish on. Feels like a pretty good one right here. Oh yeah, big white right there.
There's
Oh,
a
nice.
white.
Nice, nice. And that's
Good
why we
fish.
push out of the front as well. You can catch some nice little belly on that one.
Was that on the rod going
That
straight
was on
down?
the straight down rod out front. Sure was. Pretty fish.
Woo-hoo, that was a big dog. Well, folks, the sun's coming out. You can feel that it's warming up, and we're starting to catch a few nice fish now. That was the first big white we've caught of the morning. Caught one earlier, about 1 pound, but that was a nice fish right there. You know, last year's show we targeted all black crappie. Kevin said today we'll catch both, and so far he's right on.
When you're making your turns long lining, you don't want to make short, quick 90-degree turns, or you will tangle up everything. You want to make long sweeping turns and even speed up a little bit. And then what that'll do is that'll give you baits on one side will be falling while the baits on the other side will be rising. And a lot of times you'll get a bite like that doing that, and let you know if you need to be higher or lower in the water table. I think Russ has got one on, I think.
There we go. There
Catch
we
me
go.
a big one, Russ. There he is.
You just stay at the front of the boat, mister.
You do it, buddy.
I think he's a good fish too, Kevin.
Looks pretty good,
Oh
don't
yeah,
it?
he'll be all right. Oh man.
Left side.
Look at that big old mouth open.
Come right inside.
Tell you what, man, the bites are picking up. It's getting a little bit warmer. It's a good fish. There we go.
Nice.
Thank you,
So
sir.
another white.
And that was a mistake fish. Kevin accidentally put my lines where the fish were. I appreciate it, bud.
You got
Look
it
at
there.
Another good fish.
Fat bellies on him. Fish on.
Here we go again.
Oh, blackie.
Not quite as big as some.
No. They're good. Good fat fish. The belly. Pretty old 1 pound or so.
All right, so once again, you're seeing Kevin is doing something to where these fish will not hit the backside of the boat. He's
I'm
pulling the old
backboating
John
Russ.
Harrison on me here today. Fish.
Heck yeah, it's sticky. There's a fish right there. Now see, that's a good example of the, on the turn. That bait was sinking. This feels like a good fish. We'll see. Never know.
Down there.
Well, we caught that one on the turn and on the inside of the turn. So that tells me that maybe we need to slow down. Let those baits fall a little deeper to get that bite. A little 1 pound fish. You make a sandwich. Oh, there he is right there. There he is. There he is.
Fish?
Yep.
Come on by, come on by.
He's a big white. Feels like a good fish. They all feel good, don't
They do.
they? Like a little black, don't it?
Yes, sir.
A black fish. Yeah, we'll swing him in here. There's that rod, Bo.
There we go.
Fish on.
There we go.
There he is.
Don't feel too bad there, Kev. I don't know, it feels good actually. That's a nice fish.
Got a little bow to the rod.
Might be that 3 pound white he's talking about.
That's what we need.
This could be the one. He ain't 3 pounds, but I'm gonna tell you, he's a good fish. Staying down too. Come here, big boy. Oh, yeah.
there he
Black.
is. Well, yeah. Big black.
Look at
Big
there.
black.
Oh yeah, on the eye hole, the crappie magnet. Look at that.
That's a good fish right there, Russ.
Thank you, sir. Look at there. You know, we talked about one of the things with the eye hole is that the slab bite stay in there, still there. Look at that. Man, oh man, these fish are healthy down here. Another good one. There we go.
Oh, fish
There
on.
we go. No. Feels like another nice one, Kevin. I'm not sure he's as big as the last, but feels pretty good. here.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Come here. White.
Oh, white. Yep.
There we go.
All right. All right.
Thank you, boss.
Yes, sir.
Man, that's when you can tell it's a male, getting that tuxedo on. And Kevin, you said the spawn is already started, but some of these
Yes,
are
sir.
already post-spawn, but that's a male getting ready. He fell victim to the purple chartreuse crappie magnet. Another good one. Right there, folks, the old slab bites.
Fish on.
Got him?
Got one.
Yes, sir.
Oh, another one over here, Russ. Why don't you grab that one right there?
Where at?
That on the right side.
Oh, shoot. I told you once. There we go with a double.
Got a double on. That's awesome right there.
Yes.
That's good stuff.
Yes,
Double, baby.
it is.
Double bubble. Oh, it's a good fish right here.
This one ain't too shabby.
Yeah, a decent little fish here. Need the net?
Nope.
I can get it swinging on. Oh, look at there what it's on.
Yes, sir. Purple chartreuse turning on.
That old double.
Look at that. Purple chartreuse. That's 3 straight on that one. Another good one.
That's what I wanted to see was a double today like that. That's awesome.
Now look, Kevin, I know you're not experiencing this. Just kind of bring him to me, okay? You want to work him
You
over them
got it,
other
buddy.
lines. Just trying to help you out here, man.
Feels pretty good, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Stay on it, baby. I hate it when they come in the top
Pressure's on.
shape.
He's still out there a ways. I don't know.
Come in the top shape.
Well, that's a nice fish.
Oh, come on, baby. All right, quit that.
Come on.
Got it.
Another pound fish.
Yeah, another pound fish, old average. Nice little 1 pound black Guntersville fish.
And now the BrushPile Gear Check, sponsored by Garmin.
Hey folks, right now it's time for the BrushPile Gear Check. As far as the rods we were using today, it was the B&M's Pro Staff trolling rods. We had different lengths, as Kevin talked about earlier. It's a great rod for this technique. It's a little bit stiffer than the BGJP, but it's not too stiff to where it's ripping the jigs out of the mouth as you're trolling along. We had a 6 pound test line on. Now, as far as the jig, we had some with spinners, and I also had the eye hole jig, which you can put the slab bites right in the eye, and then the crappie magnet. Now this purple and chartreuse for me at the back of the boat was a hot color today. We put this on a loop knot. It allows it to swim a little bit more freely. So just a simple rig, but it was effective here today for this long line trolling. Folks, I hope you enjoyed today's show here at Guntersville. We had to fight through some of the elements. You know, we've had a lot of rain, the water temperature dropped a bunch, but Kevin, dude, it was fun again, man.
Good job, man. I enjoyed it, bud. We still got on some good fish today.
We did,
You know?
and what we wanted to show was you don't have to come here and live scope, or you don't have to come here and spider rig. Long lining, another technique that works great here in Guntersville.
Works great on Guntersville, especially this time of year. March all the way through April. Anybody can get out here, get them a set of rod holders. Like you said, you don't have to have the live scope, guys. Get out there, find those contours and those channels, throw out some rods, have a good time with the family long lining. It's a great time.
Well, I'll tell you this, folks, the first time I ever did a show with him, it was so funny because he was so nervous about getting on the boat and doing a show. I remember the cameraman saying, man, does he need time to go throw up or anything?
I think I did.
Kevin, now you're an old pro at this, and dude, it is always good to get with you, man.
Man, always a pleasure. You guys make it easy to do, make it a lot of fun, man. You're welcome to my boat anytime.
All
brother.
right.
Always.
Thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. We'll be back again with BrushPile Fishing.
Fish on?
Well, I think I got junk.
Oh, debris?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a floater there, huh?
Notice, folks, you want to play this out. Don't try to get too quick. That is a dandy. I tell you what, this is what we come to Guntersville for, right here, folks. Oh yeah, look at that.
That's gonna be a trophy.
Look at the beauty in that, folks. That is what you come here for. And he's barely hooked. Just get him in. Don't help me with the net. Or
You want the
nothing,
net for that?
Kevin. Look at there. I landed him.
That's
Right
a
there,
trophy
folks.
Guntersville stick right there, Russ.
And the purple and chartreuse. Oh my gosh. Can we grab a photo real quick? Kevin, we're all business when we tape.
Love it.
Special thanks to B&M Pole Company, War Eagle Boats, Crappie Magnet, Slime Line Fishing Line, Cornfield Fishing Gear, Eye-Hole Jig, Easy Drift, Driftmaster, Offshore Tackle Company, Power Pole, Mossback Fish Habitat, Hook and Bullet Sunglasses, Garmin,